Hello, students. Welcome to Easy Limu Learning Simplified. I am your teacher, Mr. Stanley Ombogo. So, students, this is another episode that is full of information. And basically, what I want to do is to take you through introduction to oral literature. An introduction to oral literature, because there are some oral literature materials that we will be studying right here. And it makes no sense looking at them if we lack the foundation or if we do not have the basics to oral literature. So that takes me to the introduction of oral literature or oral literature defined. So I'm going to start by, that is first defining oral literature. That is telling you guys what oral literature is. So this is a form of art that is spoken, generally performed, and often dramatized by a skilled performer. So another thing is that oral literature can be categorized as either fiction or non-fiction. So non-fiction is informational text that deals with an actual real-life subject. So fiction is a text that deal with a non-factual, subjects. These are imaginations. So there are also various genres of that is literature. So in most cases, the genres are categorized into two. We have got the long genres and the that is the short genres. So in some books, they are called the long forms and the short forms. So in I'm not going to categorize the genres, but I'm just going to give an example of all the genres at once, because we'll be looking at each that is in the episodes to come. So remember, I've said that they are categorized into two: the long genres that kind of take a longer duration of time during performance, and there is the other category that is the short genres that takes a very short period of time to perform because they are brief. An example is a riddle. A proverb, a pun, etc. So examples of long genres are, the narratives, the poems, the songs. So the various genres of oral literature include, we have oral narratives, we have oral poems and songs, we have proverbs, there is riddles, then we also have tongue twisters, there are puns, there are also, apart from puns, we can also talk about, human tales, which are kind of not there these days. So proverbs, riddles, tongue twisters, and puns are the short forms. Those are the short genres of oral literature that I was talking about. And this is because of their length. Now, how about we look at some of the reasons for learning oral literature? So there are very many reasons for learning oral literature. And I would not like us to, list all of them because they are very many. So I'll go for the basic ones. So the reason why we study oral literature or study of oral literature is important to a student, since the student is, number one, able to understand his or her culture and appreciate the culture of others. Number two, it is important to a student since the student is able to appreciate his or her history. That is, as the student, learn some of the past events that took place. Then number three is that the study of oral literature is important to a student since he or she appreciates the creativity in oral literature. That is as a means of understanding other African arts. Remember, for you to learn other arts, that is arts from other cultures, then you must first of all appreciate the creativity that comes with that. Now, let me start by talking about the first genre under the long forms, that is the narratives. oral narratives. So the definition of oral narrative, dear students, is that a narrative is a prose that recounts events, people, and places. So it is a story that gives an account of people, events, and places. So it can either be fictional, that is non-factual, or non-fictional, that is factual. The terms used to mean the same as a narrative are tale, folktale, or a story. Remember, I only mentioned a story. So a tale, folktale, or a story all can be used to mean the same thing, that is narrative. So at its essence, an oral narrative is a spoken art, and it is a story that is spoken to an audience. Remember, we started by defining oral literature. Uh, that was the art, work of art that is spoken, generally performed, and often dramatized. But now oral narratives at essence is, or these are stories that are spoken to an audience. So an oral narrative again is handed down from generation to generation by word of mouth. They are spoken, they are stories that are simply told by word of mouth, and that is how they are passed from one generation to another. And again, in our previous that is a lesson, an oral narrative is one of the genres of oral literature. A person who tells a story is known as a narrator or a performer. So what are some of the qualities of a good narrator? What are some of the qualities of a good narrator? So a good narrator, dear students, number one, should be confident. So a good narrator is confident. A good narrator should also be able to use the non-verbal skills. Examples of the non-verbal skills that I'm talking about here are that is use of gestures, that is body movements, the facial expressions, and so on. Then a good performer or a good narrator must also utilize the stage well. So you must, if you are a narrator or a performer, you must ensure that you are using the stage very well. Then another thing is that a good narrator must or should involve their audience in the narration. That is to make it more interesting. Oral narratives, dear students, are further classified or they are further divided into different categories. So narratives are categorized into different classes, and these classes are, at the first place, we have myths, then there is legends, we have ogre or monster stories, we also have trickster stories, we have etiological narratives, then there is also the dilemma stories, then we have fables, which again we will not focus on so much because some of these are nowadays outdated. Then there is also lastly the spirit tales and allegory. So dear students, we will have a chance in the coming episodes to look at each and every class, because we cannot look at all these classes in a single session. So it means that we will divide them. We will divide them, and we will separate them and look at each class by giving examples that will help us, eventually help us understand them better. So that marks the end of the session, dear students. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching till the end. And remember to always keep it easy, Alimu. Once again, I am your teacher, Mr. Stanley Ombogo. Until next time, bye.